Hi, welcome to another Power Blast podcast. Today we're going to talk about 3 simple tweaks to get results with your diet. Stay tuned. Hey everyone, Perry Tinsley here, creator of the Power Blast podcast and owner of PutYourselfFirst.com. And I'm a health and fitness coach, and today we're going to talk about getting results with your diet. Here we are at the beginning of the year. Usually at the beginning of the year, a lot of people are figuring out ways that they're going to get healthier, lose weight, go on a diet, you name it. We've usually got some sort of ambitious health and fitness goal. And if that's you, hopefully these 3 tweaks will help you out. They're very, very simple to do. I just think sometimes people don't consider them as important as they really should. Sometimes it's really easy to overlook some of the obvious, right? Obvious things like we should eat right and exercise. And then we find ourselves drifting away from that plan somehow. Anyway, I hope these are helpful. To tell you the truth, I really don't like using the word diet all that much. It just sounds so restrictive. And I just like it. Just your healthy eating plan is the way I look at it. The way you want something that's sustainable, and really when it comes to getting results, there's no way of getting around it. If you want to lose weight, you need to step up your nutrition game. There's just no way that you can, outwork a bad diet. And I know a lot of times, this was me way back when I would go to, I had a gym membership I would get them during the summer breaks when I wasn't teaching. Have off for the summer, I'm going to go and work out. And literally I would go and just crush my workout at the gym, and I would justify having Oreos or Chips Ahoy or Doritos later on because I worked out. I deserve that, right? And no wonder I really didn't see the results like ever. I maybe felt a little stronger, but visibly, and my clothing didn't fit better just because my diet wasn't in check, and I was eating hot dogs and drinking beer, and Mountain Dew was my thing. So anyway, when it comes to that, you can't outwork a bad diet, but you really don't want to suffer either. I think a lot of times people think, oh my gosh, if I'm going to eat healthy, I'm going to be really, really bored. And there are, you name it, there are a lot of fad diets out there. Always ones that seem to just come out every year somehow. Some with really catchy, fancy names to them, and some try to eliminate certain food groups from your eating. And not the eliminating the unhealthy stuff is smart, but they'll get rid of certain macronutrients. Slant it one way or the other. But for me, I don't really subscribe to any one particular eating plan. I know some people are all vegan, all vegetarian, paleo, keto, whatever it is. And to tell you the truth, that hasn't typically been me. Now, I know a lot of I know some friends doing all those different ones, getting great results, finding it that way. But, you want something that you can follow in general as part of a healthy eating plan. Something that you can commit to 80 to 90% of the time. And you want to make it sustainable. So it's really going to boil down to eating a lot of whole foods and when I'm saying a lot of whole foods, this is the stuff that you'll want to weed out, stuff that has added salt, added sugar, unhealthy fats. So you take away some of those things, and all of a sudden food becomes boring, or it seems to be. But there's a way to make a lot of flavorful creations out there to take away that, I guess, the stigma that's out there that says, if I don't add salt or sugar or fats, unhealthy fats to my foods, it's going to be boring. It's going to taste awful. It's really, there's even ways to do comfort foods. This is the way I kind of went as I evolved over time in putting more healthier foods into my eating. I discovered a lot of great recipes of doing some spices and healthy oils and things like that to really flavor foods up without adding unnecessary calories to that, or weight to my body and things. And it's really boils down to improving the quality of the calories that you do put into your body. So I go out and I find like comfort foods. I love pizza. Well, I just found a healthier way to recreate pizzas that I loved without having to sacrifice and feel the guilt or the feel, like I've strayed away from the goals that I wanted to do. So here's simple tweak number one. Super simple tweak number one. Drink water first and drink it the most. Water is so easily overlooked. But when you're really if you're trying to lose weight or trying to eat healthier, cleaning up your diet's going to also mean watching what you drink. A lot of people, and I was included, we consume a lot of empty calories. And we think we're drinking, we think we're hydrating our bodies, but we're really not. We're dehydrating our bodies with what we're putting in there. And so water is a great way to do it. And here's the deal. It's the goal is each day to be intentional about this, but each day to drink about half of your body weight in ounces. So if you weigh, let's say 180 pounds, you would just take 180 divided by 2, which is 90. So your goal is to drink 90 ounces a day. For me, when I first get up, I'll pour like a couple of 12-ounce glasses, and I will just literally chug that stuff, okay? And I know for you soda drinkers out there, I can totally sympathize with that because I was a big Mountain Dew addict, Coca-Cola addict for the longest time. And this might seem like, oh my gosh, I'm going to be having lots of trips to the bathroom. But what you're doing is you're hydrating your body. You're making your organs function better. And if you are eating healthier, you want your organs to function even better. And if you're exercising, to make things just process all that much better, and you'll feel a lot more energetic, etc. You know what? I say, if you don't believe me, try it for 30 days. Just say, you know what? I'm going to be intentional, and every day I'm striving for, let's say, 90 ounces, and I'm going to do it. For me, I get gallon jugs, and I fill them up with filtered water. My goal is to have that finished by the end of the day. Now, sometimes toward the end of the day, I'm having to pound it down. But I don't find myself having to run to the bathroom as often as what I was making up in my head that would happen. And it seems like, oh my gosh, I'm going to hold a bunch of water weight. But you're actually flushing, when you are using the bathroom, you're flushing a lot of the stuff that your body was holding on to. So that's kind of a cool thing. I always strive for filtered water over tap. But if you find water boring, some people do. I've known some people to say, oh, I don't like the taste of water. So, okay, flavor it up. Add a sliced citrus, cucumbers, strawberries, pineapple, maybe some mint leaves. Just combine some of those things. You can go out and Google some water recipes. There's infusers out there if you want to get fancy. But literally just slicing up a bunch of cucumber and let it sit in a water bottle, and it gives it a different flavor. Strawberries, kiwi, and basil might be one, or pineapple and orange peel, or maybe ginger, cucumber, and mint. Something like that. It can flavor things up. Now, watch out for some of the things that you can, little powders and stuff that you can add to water. You want to make sure that, do your research and make sure you're not adding unnecessary chemicals to your body, which can also trigger the body to want to hold on to fat and weight and stuff like that. So there's that super simple tweak number one. Here's super simple tweak number two. This is crazy simple, but boy, we hold on to it. It's replacing refined and processed foods with whole foods. And I know what you're saying. You're probably like, oh my gosh, I can't get rid of that the box of brownie mix that's in the cupboard. I did this too. I held on to a lot of things because there might be that time that some guests come over and I might be inspired to make whatever. I actually went through my cupboard. I went through the fridge and I took things out that were processed, that had hydrogenated oils in them, that had unnecessary, sugar stuff. things like that. I'm just going off the top of my head, high fructose corn syrup. And I just put them in a box and I went to a food pantry, gave it away. I probably should have just thrown it away. Why should somebody else have that? But that's what I did. And so while it might be obvious to cut back and say, okay, I'm going to cut back and not have fried foods or creamy casseroles or sugary treats and stuff like that, and you're starting to think of what should I replace it, be careful of this. A lot of times it's really easy to say, well, I'll just go to the freezer section and get some frozen healthy entree from my grocery store. But you know what? Frozen meals, packaged snacks, there's sugar-laden cereals out there, bottled sauces, dressings, meats. They've got added preservatives, added salts, added things in there. So you really got to become a good label reader. So instead, choose whole foods like vegetables, fruit, raw nuts, seeds, lean protein like chicken, eggs, turkey. If you're eat mostly vegan, well, it could be tempeh. Watch for the organic and GMO stuff. Choose healthy fats like avocados and hummus and extra virgin olive oil and nut butters, things like that. Make them natural. And just what you're striving for with whole foods is nutrient-dense fuel that's going to be in your body. It's going to make your body feel fuller. As opposed to like processed foods. A lot of times we'll eat processed foods and find ourselves hungry not too long ago because your body just didn't get the nutrients that it did. You might initially be full, but then you're quick to get hungry. So take 30 days. Say, you know what? I'm going to do whole foods for the next 30 days and see how my body responds. Chances are it's going to respond pretty awesome. And the other thing, when it comes to the processed stuff, one thing a little tip that I learned years ago was if you shop the perimeter of the store, you'll find you're going to find the produce, you're going to find the healthier versions of food, as opposed to up and down the aisles where you'll find your boxed foods, canned foods, stuff like that. Not to say that there aren't healthy choices in there. You do, and stores are getting better at carrying organic things, but you still want to do that. And when you buy fruits and vegetables, strive for organic. Watch out for those top 10 things that are filled with pesticides and GMO stuff. But, eating healthy takes a little bit of research. It takes a little bit of time. But once you get it down, you'll get that rhythm. Super simple tweak number 3 is to add volume to your foods with vegetables. Okay, this is where Perry used to gross out because I hated vegetables most of my life. It wasn't until somebody said I needed to do vegetables. And so here's what I did. Well, first of all, when it comes to vegetables, just consuming foods with low calorie density and in getting the most calories from vegetables and fruits is really going to do your body good. It's got the fiber in there. It's going to make you feel fuller. And so, and there's usually less calories to it. And so if at the end of the day, if you're looking to have less calories than you're eating and burn more than you're consuming, that's the way to do it, especially if you're like, I'm feeling starved, I'm feeling hungry, I haven't had enough food. Here's a way to add a lot of volume to that. But back to my vegetable story, I did not like most vegetables. I mean, today I'll eat broccoli and cauliflower and stuff like that, but you wouldn't find me doing that before. What I did was I found that there was some sort of stir-fry vegetable that I could tolerate. I got rid of the pea pods. I got rid of the broccoli. I actually picked them out. But I would buy these frozen kits that had peppers in it and a few other things that I were like, okay, I can tolerate this. Maybe I'll put in some low-sodium soy sauce or some salsa on it. And for a long time, and that's for that 30 days, I practiced eating vegetables that weren't necessarily my favorites, but I wanted to test, does that really work? Well, first of all, I felt fuller when I did, but like within the first week, my body dropped 5 pounds. I was like, oh my gosh, there must be something to this vegetable thing. So eventually Shakeology had come along, and there's a lot of superfood and vegetable content in that. I wish I would have had that all my life. And that's my one of my main sources of getting good fruits and vegetables and superfoods in, and just that really dense nutrition, high calorie, low calorie density, but that high nutrient value. But that's, when it came to practicing to eat vegetables, that's what I did. And eventually over time, as my palate developed, I got used to eating some vegetables. So I would try other ones. Brussels sprouts, which used to just gag me. It was probably just the thought of them. But I love them now. I'll grill them. I'll do get like a little natural maple syrup to put on with a little bit of salt and sea salt, and that's a great way to do it. Or a little olive oil and salt and pepper. But years ago, no way. But I used it as an experiment, and I found my body was responding better. And if the goal is, I want to just dial in my diet and lose some weight this year, that's the way to do it. So in the end, when it comes to weight loss, generally it just boils down to eating fewer calories, but you want to make those calories count and make them nutrient dense. So to recap, it's water, replacing processed foods with whole foods, and vegetables and fruit. Make them nutrient dense. And if you can make them organic, make sure you're washing them, preparing them right. Salads, I eat lots of salads. Watch out for salad dressing. If you can, Google healthy dressing recipes. They're super simple to make, and then make your own at home. That way you're not adding in a bunch of extra stuff that and undue calories that you don't need. But if you're wanting to, if you're finding yourself wanting a few ideas on meal planning or some simple recipes with just ideas on how to implement some of this stuff, please comment below or email me, perrytinsley@gmail.com, and I can share some of my simple plans with you that I've got, or, just sample ideas. And then you can go through, or even some websites that I use when I'm going and saying, you know what, I want a healthy way to make pizza, or I want a healthy idea to make, Thanksgiving was a month or so ago, I wanted a healthy pumpkin pie recipe, and so those are the things that I will just Google and do a little research and find alternative ways to do that. So my wish for you is to start out the year and go all year long to reach your goals. But it really starts one day at a time, making that decision, making that commitment, and then using yourself as a little experiment, every 30 days. I always took it in 30-day chunks, and I would commit to 30 days and see how I felt. Along the way, I got rid of, I don't have much dairy in my diet anymore. I found that it really made me bloated. Now I do from time to time, but not a lot. But there are some people out there, their body craves it. They need it. They got to have it. So that's where you test out what is working for you and for the goals. But it's got to be consistent. And that's the way to do it. Water, man, and get rid of the processed stuff. You start doing that, your body is going to go, thank you. It's not even necessarily losing the weight. A lot of it will be just losing the puffiness and the bloat that your body's just hanging on to, just because it's doing that. So that's all I have for this week. I so appreciate you for subscribing. If you know of somebody that can benefit from this episode or any of these tips or any of the other Power Blast podcasts I have out there, please pass them on. That would be totally awesome. If you have any other tips and ideas and you want to share those with the community here, please comment below, or you can email me at perrytinsley@gmail.com. That's way cool. And you know what would be awesome? And I hope you know this. Power Blast Podcast actually comes in a video version and an audio version. Two separate ways that you can either watch or listen, or both. Just go over to bring up your podcast app or go over to the iTunes store, look for Power Blast Podcast. You can subscribe there. And while you're there, please leave a rating and review. That will help other people find this show. You absolutely rock. I so appreciate you for being a part of this show with me and always uplifting and inspiring me. And remember, it's never too late. We'll see you next week.